The world around us is changing. Rising sea levels, resource scarcity, mass extinctions, and rampant wildfires are just a few of the problems that humanity will face in the years to come. Many of these problems are self-inflicted and are traced back to our exponential rates of consumption. The choices we make as private consumers do have an impact, and though we may try our best to make more sustainable lifestyle choices, these are micro solutions, and we require macro solutions. The United States is infamous for consuming more than its fair share of the Earth's natural resources. If all countries consumed at this rate, it would require 4 Earths to support this amount of consumption. But technology is progress, and we like our gadgets. It's not like we can go back to the Dark Ages. So then, what is the solution? In this case, the solution is also provided by the problem. It's us, humans, designers and architects alike, who have the tools at their disposal to design for a better future. Before we continue, let's start with defining a few terms. The first of which is renewable resources. Renewable resources are usually defined as energy sources that replenish on a human timescale. This can include solar power, wind power, hydropower, biomass, and even geothermal power. Next is the triple bottom line, a framework that views sustainability as having 3 major components that interlap: people, the planet, and profit. And lastly, we have net zero design, which is when the amount of energy that a building consumes equals the amount of energy the building produces. Buildings are responsible for 40% of energy consumption. And while it's great to eliminate their impact by creating a net zero effect or designing sustainably, they can do more. Let's flip the script and see if we can challenge our buildings not only to do the least bad, but the most good. Our world is full of self-sustaining ecosystems, from the scale of one human body to the entirety of the Amazon rainforest, each of which provide us with pro-social benefits, the forest giving us oxygen, and humans giving each other love or whatever. So let us consider the city being analogous to the rainforest and the human body being analogous to a building, which brings us to the concept of regenerative design and living buildings. Now we will delve into some of the principles and concepts considered when designing a regenerative building. The first one is 2 birds, 1 stone. Regenerative architecture often takes on a problem not explicitly related to architecture itself. The example I have here is using old jeans as insulation, removing a top pollutant from the environment while simultaneously giving it a purpose within the building's context. Next is the utilization of free energy, which is any renewable resources that we talked about previously in the video that may be available at your given site. Regenerative design also usually employs the use of closed-loop systems, a popular example being urban farming and the use of aquaponics to create a food source locally and filter out water. Another really important aspect is they're often intentionally beautiful, designed with the intent of promoting pro-social behavior and a sense of community and well-being. These buildings are alive. Not in that they have eyes or talk, but they often treat their own waste and are self-reliant with their own energy sources. And lastly, and arguably most obviously, they are intentionally designed to do the most good, which, although it sounds simple, is a paradigm shift in how we think about the mindful design of spaces, and we shift from a least bad to a most good mindset. But this all may seem like a tall order, maybe something in our, distant future, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Let's take a look at the Bullitt Center, an example right here in the Pacific Northwest. A wonderful precedent for what a living and regenerative building could be. Much like the human body, this building actively tries to maintain homeostasis via light and temperature regulation, thanks to its many sensors placed throughout the building. It also has 6 floors of composting toilets that create nutrients, is free of pollutants, harvests all its own energy and water, eliminating the need for dependency on the central grid. And from all the energy that it does harvest, it's net positive to a significant degree. During the building's first year of operation, it used 147,260 kilowatt hours worth of energy, but it made 252,560 hours of kilowatt energy. An average building of this size consumes just under 600,000 kilowatt hours of energy. So the results speak for themselves, and they speak pretty loudly. The integration of technology allows this building to behave like a natural entity, allowing it to conserve and produce more energy than its traditional counterpart. And if this is possible in cloudy Seattle using solar power, it's possible anywhere. Sustainable and net zero buildings are the result of some amazingly innovative design strategies. But this isn't our ending, it's our beginning. We need to utilize these ideas as a springboard to take our buildings past the point of doing the least harm to perform the most good, to promote healthy, loving, and regenerative spaces.